Okay, I guess I'm live. This is Annalisa from myspiritualfriend.com. I don't know if anybody's going to join me, so I'll wait. What I was going to do is do 30 minutes, and I'm going to try and make it a regular thing, maybe on Sunday evenings for Eastern Standard Time evening, and where I just answer your questions if you have them. I have I'm getting some text messages. I don't know if anybody will join me and ask. I have a friend who asked, she sent a text. I'm going to answer it live. I don't know if she really wants me to answer it live. She said, we are wanting to sell our house and move to a bigger place so we can be a foster family. Wanted to see what your guides are saying about that and when would be the best opportunity to move and where, just looking for some direction. Super stressed about it. Let me know what you think. First of all, the one thing I want to say is before, for anybody who's like stressed out about any decisions they're supposed to be trying to make and how to figure out, and you feel like, if you're intuitive on your own and you can't reach out to your own guides, try and find space to be calm about it. So meditation, moving meditation, go for a walk outside, get out in nature. Make sure you're breathing. We all often breathe enough to sustain our cellular necessity for oxygen, but we don't breathe enough for our soul to have enough oxygen. So one thing you can do is just make sure when you're in that stress moment, breathe in your nose, exhaling out your mouth. And what I would say for her is just sit quietly for a moment. So yes, definitely you're going to be able to buy a bigger house. But I feel like the process isn't going to start until June or July, and it's still going to be about a year out till you actually move in. Now, I don't know if that means that you're working on obtaining the property before then, putting your offer and everything else like that, but I feel like it's still a year out from now before you move in. And this friend is in the Milwaukee area. I can't remember all of the neighborhoods when I lived in that area for a while, so I'm trying to think of the towns in that area, and I'm hearing a few names. I don't think you're going to stay in the area you're in. I think you're going to be moving actually a little bit more rural, not like crazy in a cornfield rural, but it just feels like the properties are a little bit more spread out. There's a little bit more, the lots are a little bit larger. And you're definitely going to be able to do fostering, though you're going to fall in love a little bit. But I feel like it's not going to be older kids. You're going to be fostering a little bit younger children and some with some medical needs. I'm seeing one child in particular, you're finding an attachment to them. You're going to be doing fostering, but I actually don't feel like you're going to foster for a really, really long time because I think you're going to end up wanting to adopt. And it's going to really tug at your heartstrings a lot. And I know that you do something, your career is such that you're used to kind of emotionally being, an emotional attachment with your job and those people that you care for. That I feel like is in 2 to 3 months, you're going to start working on the paperwork and the application work to become a foster. But again, in like June, July is when you're going to start seriously looking for a house that's larger. But it'll be like another year out before you actually move. And it obviously the school year is not going to make an issue because I know that your one child is private school. So that it's like not an issue. I feel like you're going to buy it off time and actually get a better deal when you put the money in. And so then, but maybe you're not moving in because you're doing some upgrades or doing something to make the house ready. But so it feels like a little bit of time. Um, but it's not an issue at all. So don't even worry about that. It's just all going to kind of fall together. And they're showing me like, um, it's like sounds mechanical, da, 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 like things just lining up just perfectly. So it seems like not an issue. Um, when I say further out, it feels like Guanago. Um, there's a town right outside of Brookfield where it's like Lisbon Road, I think is the name of it. On the other side of it, like one side is Brookfield and the other side is this other town. So it just feels like just slightly further out from where you are right now. And I actually feel like you're going to have shifting in your job. Um, I don't know if it's more responsibility or it just feels like a shift in where you're not going to have to be traveling so far or commuting so much. And I'm not sure exactly why that happens. If it's that you're, I got two people watching. Hi, welcome. Oh, I also forgot to say I have new subscribers and I'm super excited for that. So sorry, back to this, my friend's reading, Amy. I just feel like your job is going to be shifting so that it's going to sort of like all kind of, you've got a really big next 18 months. So it's going to be really big, a lot of changes, but all changes for the positive and the better as far as work and moving and things like that. And the girls are going to totally settle in, no problem. But I actually think you might be adopting a child from through the work. And I'm waiting to see if someone can ask, oh, hi, Sunshine, hello. I know what month Jay and I will move in together. Thanks. I actually feel April of next year. I feel like it's a little bit of a time away, and I don't know if it's like leases lining up right or something lining up the right way. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it feels like this spring. So it's something lining up the right way. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, oh, you're welcome, Caleb Ariel. I don't know how to say. Sorry. Oh, I've got to look at the camera. um, of a windfall, like a financial windfall. Are you working on that? If you can answer this, I don't know if you're working on law of attraction. Is that what it feels like? Does that not make any sense, Sunshine? Are you disappointed? It felt like, to me, it felt like something I heard April and it feels like next year though. It doesn't feel like quite this month. You think you heard it, Clara, audiently. Ah, of course you were. I just feel like whatever's going to happen with leases or something like that, it's just going to kind of end up being where it falls together a little bit later than you're hoping, but it will happen. I also feel like Jay's a little bit more traditional, so he wants it to be very like I see a ring first and then moving in. I feel like he really likes to be traditional, even if he doesn't say that. Um, I think you heard it, Clara, audiently. So they're showing me when your idea of windfall and my idea of windfall are different. I do feel like you're working on so if this makes sense, uh manifesting money in your life. And so they're gonna give you a small windfall, like um when I say windfall, where it's money's going to fall into your lap, but it's not like a ton of money. It just feels like maybe 50 or $100, but it's going to help the momentum and propel you forward to manifesting more. But when I hear windfall, I really like 5,000 is kind of the number that's coming up for me. Um, But that again is not going to be coming until January. I feel like you sort of have to, you're working on the manifesting thing. And also they're talking about what's really important is you manifest your connection with spirit, because you are hearing them, but it's like an AM radio station. I don't know if you know AM radio station, where it's kind of like when you're, tuning with the dial about versus, to the direct, what is that called? Analog, versus the digital. And so when you're tuning in, it's not quite right. So it's like you're hearing it, but you're not quite fully hearing it. So they're talking about like kind of practicing and testing yourself with hearing that. Obviously, this is a great way, but the other way is even just doing a quick meditation and tuning in and writing it down, what you think you hear, some way where you can test with someone around you on more of a regular basis. Oh, good. I'm glad you came for the proposal. I actually feel that will come first. He feels very traditional. Does that make sense, Calum, Ariel? It's funny because it feels like when I was asking you, I'm like looking at, and I asked if it made sense. I heard 5,000, and then I see 20,000, but it's like coming down the road. But the little windfall to start. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I've got somebody asking me on Facebook. This person asks, Michelle asked me, do I have any idea what the future holds for me in terms of location of where I'll be living or romantic relationship? So living, I actually feel like you're moving out of New York. I actually feel you're moving further north, like I hear Vermont or New Hampshire. I don't know if you like either of those areas. I feel like you'll seriously start looking for work up there. Well, now, but come August is sort of when you'll start kind of like getting your feelers out. I actually feel you shifting and not just doing straight teaching anymore, but moving maybe, I don't know if you're going back to school or different certifications, sort of like shifting what you're doing, but I do feel you moving. Again, with the next year, everybody's kind of got stuff kind of coming in the next year in 2020. It may even be where you're moving like mid-year, they have a position that opens up for you. But I don't feel you staying in New York forever. And I feel like you sort of like releasing a lot, like a weight kind of falling off of you and releasing a lot of stress. And feeling less anxiety or feeling less tense and feeling less like the need to figure out how everything's going to come together. And that's when I think you're going to meet somebody, is once you move. I feel like until then, it's kind of sort of like you'll meet some nice guys, but just kind of duds until then. It's an unfortunate, but it's sort of the universe's way of making sure you move to meet this other person. Because all the way around, I think it's going to be the best for you and everybody. Meeting the other gentleman. That's helpful. I think you asked on here. I'm just going to type real quick so that you can go on and listen to it. I am on YouTube Live. Click the link. Let's see. Hi, Robert Kraft. Hello, how are you? You have a question? I don't know how long it takes for the questions and answers to go back and forth, or if there's a lag time. So, and you're welcome, Ariel. I'll just say Kate because I think I'm messing up. Calum. Calum. Um, I guess I can talk about some other things that, if no one has any questions, some other things going on right now. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, my friend wants to ask. Yes, ask your questions here for privacy if you're tuned in. You can text me. That's fine. Okay, let's see. Good. Thanks. And you? I'm good. I would love to know how my ex is going to find courage to come back to me and express her love. Oh. So, I actually don't feel like she will. And I'm sorry to say that because I know it's not what you want to hear. Um, what I feel like is going to happen, I actually feel like she's going to move on and meet somebody new. And I feel like through your own trying to find a sense of healing, um, they're showing me you sort of take a deep breath. Um, I see finding you keeping yourself busy, and through that, sort of finding a way to heal through just being busy and not focusing on it so much is where you're going to meet someone. And I feel like she's much more in line with you vibrationally. Um, with the ex, I feel like the way they're showing me is like it's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of push and pull, but it's like nothing ever seems to like meet up right. And this new person that comes in, I just feel like it's such a calmer energy, and she just feels like home. And um, and it feels like no matter what, it's just easy. Now, there's not going to be the crazy, crazy passion, but there's going to be this level of comfort that's going to give you such a better sense of security in the relationship that you'll kind of wonder why you focus so much on this ex for so long. Um, but they're reminding me to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you, that it's not that you did anything wrong or you said anything wrong, or if you could have been more this or more that. It's just it wasn't a vibrational match and there was some sort of karmic healing that had to happen there, but that it was like you're saying a lesson for her to learn. You learned something too, but it was really about a lesson for her to learn, and that it was just it's time to move on. And they're making me feel like through your own healing process and your own finding ways to keep yourself busy, um, and it feels like finding a creative outlet, that you'll meet this other person and her energy just feels so calm and lovely and like relaxed and just welcoming. Um, and that feels about 6 months away for me that you'll meet this person. So I don't know if you just finally decide to get out there and it's not about dating apps and going out to find the person. It's just about finding healing for yourself and a way to keep busy. I don't know if that makes any sense. Will she meet up with you, your ex? I feel like your ex is trying to set boundaries. Does that make sense to you? She's not very good at setting boundaries. And so she does it in kind of a roundabout way. And she doesn't communicate clearly enough with you because she's so worried about, she doesn't want to hurt you. I don't feel like she's an evil or mean person. She's just not very good at being clear. Does that make sense, Robert? Well, I'll do that. Sorry, I've never done this before, so I'm trying to figure out. I just clicked on something. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that you're going to meeting up with her. I feel like she's really trying to set boundaries. Okay, hang on. I have a Caleb, I'll answer your question in just a second. I'm going to answer this question on my phone for another listener. I have a difficult relationship with my sister, and we're not on speaking terms. Untreated, okay. I worry about the impact on her children, and I'm doing my best to keep my connection to them. Wondering if they have any guidance on the situation. I have any guidance on the situation. So, you and I share mental illness issues. I mean, I'm not mentally ill, but having family members that are, and it's a really difficult thing to deal with. And so I have a lot of compassion and empathy for you on that. I feel like you will make a better connection with your nieces, nephews when they get a little bit older. So it feels like teenage years and a little bit later. It feels like, I feel like you should continue to somehow just make yourself known. I don't know, sending a birthday card here or there. But the feeling is such that until that point, they're going to be still trying to figure out, because they're hearing maybe from mom's side, oh, it's just this. And they're not really, they don't really see their mom clearly as having mental health issues. And sometimes it's not until we're a little bit older and we kind of go, oh, wait, that's kind of weird or that's strange. Like, but as a kid, you sort of just take it for face value and think, well, that's the gospel. That's what it is. And so, but it feels like later down the road when they're a bit older. But you shouldn't feel guilty about this or bad about this, because that's also part of their journey and part of their stuff they're trying to grow and learn from as on a soul level. So I don't know where to go with that, but you don't need to worry about it. But it feels like it's sort of like kismet. It's all sort of meant to be that way. But I feel like when they're a bit older, like 16, 17, 18 is when they'll sort of like maybe start trying reaching out and kind of forming a bond with you and sort of figuring it all out. But I feel like don't totally completely cut yourself out of their life. So I don't know if it's sending cards, like I said, or just so that they sort of get wind that you're around still. Robert, you were supposed to meet up with her last week. She's not very good at communicating. I don't think she really wants to meet up. I think she feels bad. She doesn't want to hurt you. And let me just tell you from a non-psychic standpoint, she would make the time. I feel like she might have a few of your things that she needs to return. And it's sort of like wanting to do that. But again, she's really trying to set boundaries and hold fast to those. Let's see, Caleb. Direction as far as source. As far as cutting off, when hang on, I'm back to the friend on the text message. Back to when you cut somebody off because it's a toxic relationship. When you have that dysfunction for so long, it really can be hard, and you feel guilty because you're not a bad person. And you're not doing it to be mean or hurtful. You just have to Christian as far as career. I don't know if you've been thinking about going back to school, because they're immediately showing me in school, and I feel like traditional school. So it feels like whatever you have to do, it does require traditional schooling to go back to and either earn another degree or get a certification. But it's not like, like it feels like a real certification. Like you have to have your degree before you can go. It doesn't feel like a psychic intuitive certification. It feels like a traditional type schooling in order to go back. And I don't keep hearing social work, so I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's what I keep hearing is social work. So it feels like in the helping, healing field. It doesn't feel like necessarily like I'm at a bedside as a nurse, though. Does that make sense? Um, Earth Angel, what's your question? Sorry, when you're a psychic, sometimes your friends text you messages about psychic stuff happening to their family members or friends or kids. Okay, how does Dario feel about me? Okay, well, perhaps then you're going back to do some sort of sunshine. You're going back to get some further certification or oh, that sounds like Sunshine's career field. Okay, Kaylin, that feels okay. Great, thank you. I'm glad. Uh, and also sometimes when you do readings and things like that, you find that when I do group readings or whatever, they're like things resonate between people because you sort of come together at the same time. Like the universe says, okay, this is what needs to happen, and so you may not get the message directly for yourself. You may get it through somebody else, or similar energies kind of come together at that same time. Okay, how does Dario feel about me? Oh boy, I feel like Dario's a flirt and a little bit of a player. I do feel like he likes you. I feel like he's just not really serious though. Um, he feels like let me think of how you put it. It's not a player per se, but it's like relationships kind of freak him out. And he would never say this, but it's just that feeling of like commitment and being fully engaged emotionally is a bit scary. But know that that's not about you or any woman in particular. It's really about his own uh, issues growing up and things like that. But I do think he's interested in you. I just feel like I keep hearing like non-committal. So it feels like easing in. It's not going to be like I'm like quick to jump into a relationship. I don't know if that makes any sense. Uh, uh, Caleb Ariel said, I was thinking that before I asked a question, that other people's questions are my answers. Uh, Earth Angel, does that make sense with Dario? You said as personality wise. And I have time for maybe just a little bit more, and then I'm going to bounce out so I can go eat dinner. No, I didn't say he likes a lot of girls. What I said was, I think he's interested in you, but I also think that he's kind of a fear of commitment kind of guy. So he doesn't dive too deep into his emotions. Uh, so I think when I say flirt, I feel like I'm friendly, but I don't like, again, I don't think he's like, I don't feel like player. I just feel like I'm really hesitant to commit. Sunshine. Hang on just a second. Let me finish with I'm gonna get to you, don't worry, sunshine. But does that make sense where he's sort of look, there's guys that will go like full into a relationship, no problem. He just feels like he kind of like I see his smile. Um, it just feels like he's a little bit of a game player. So like when it comes to relationships, not that he's necessarily out cheating, but just that like he doesn't want to give you a straight answer. I really feel like emotions are sort of really hard for him to like process, and being really deep is hard for him to process. And it's kind of so it's like it takes him a while to trust that it's safe to get into the relationship. I don't know. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Sometimes the one thing I was going to say is I do see a child coming, but I don't know if I necessarily see pregnancy this year. But it feels to me like actually you'll get engaged first and then maybe pregnancy, but it doesn't feel the other way around to me. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But I do see you with children. It's not about watching you. It's just that he'll develop a relationship with you for, it'll take a little bit longer before he wants to dive in and say, you're my girlfriend. Okay. Listen, I'm going to bounce out because it's 7:30. I see, Caleb, I see you have another question. Can you hold it until next week? And then I'll come back. And we'll talk about soulmates and things like that. All right, sunshine. Okay, thank you everybody for listening, for checking in. I know it's not a ton, but I'm super excited that anybody watched. I'm so grateful to all of my subscribers. And I'll come back next Sunday. And I may not be able to do it at the exact same time, but I will do a weekly thing because, you know, we all have lives and I have a family and I kind of want to be able to do family things. And sometimes it requires me to be present at this time. But I will put on like a little message maybe a day or two before just to confirm when I'll do the live one. So when you subscribe, if you hit the little bell, you'll get those messages that come up and know when I'll be on. Okay, now, but thank you so much again, everybody. I really appreciate you trusting me to do this. And remember, for legal purposes, all readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only. I am not a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist. I am not a financial counselor. I'm not any of those things. So if you need to seek those, please seek those, and this is for fun. So have a great night. I am Annalisa from myspiritualfriend.com. Good night.